Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rawrquaza. Welcome back to another episode of... I forgot to do the freaking water thing. It's water wetness stew. I don't know. I completely forgot. I'm not on top of the ball game. It's, I blame coronavirus. I'm out of practice. I have unlocked all the artifacts. I'm gonna go over all the artifacts. We're going to play as engineer today because I have unlocked the alternate utility skill, which is thermal harpoons. I'm going to play with thermal harpoons for a little bit to show you how it works and talk about my thoughts on it. And then I'm going to swap back to the bubble shield and we're actually going to do a run. So that's the plan for right now. We're going to go over the artifacts now. I have them all. Spite. Spite is sweet. We're going to turn on Spite. Spite is dope. Command. Command is dope. Very enabling. We got Honor. It's classic. Spawn with a random equipment. This is Enigma that changes every time it's activated. Chaos. Maybe you covered some of these last time, but I don't remember which ones I didn't have. Chaos. Friendly fire enabled for both survivors and monsters. Glass. Allies deal 500% damage, but have 10% health. Dissonance. Monsters can appear outside their usual environments. Evolution. Monsters gain items between stages. Metamorphosis. Players always spawn as a random survivor. We're not going to do that one right now. I will turn evolution on just for fun, though. And also chaos, probably. Sacrifice. Monsters drop items on death, but chests no longer spawn. I'm doing that one as well. Vengeance. This one's sweet and also horrible. Your relentless doppelganger will invade every 10 minutes. This is like the replacement for Origin. It's insane. They have all of your items. They are a copy of your character. Kin. Monsters will be of only one type per stage. Swarms. Monster spawns are doubled, but monster max health is halved. I'm turning that one on, too. So I think because of the way that the game works, I've been told that Monster XP, I think this is someone on last video, commented that Monster XP determines the amount of money that they give and also therefore the chance of sacrifice dropping from enemies. So it makes sense that swarms would lower this, but I don't know. Death. When one player dies, everyone dies. That one's crazy for multiplayer and gonna be something that doesn't actually matter for single player, obviously. Frailty. Fall damage is doubled and lethal. And then soul wisps emerge from defeated monsters. Okay. So, pretty sweet. It's nuts. There's lots of cool modifiers to do. There's so many things to do in the game right now. It's exciting. We're going to talk about thermal harpoons for a minute. So thermal harpoons is the new control skill. It replaces the shield. How it works is when you hit control, it brings up a box. If you then left click, it will paint targets up to the maximum number, which is based on the number of charges on the skill. If you can paint the same target multiple times. Also, they seek out other targets if that target dies, which is pretty cool. If the reticle is up, it does not continue charging. Another important piece of information is that it cancels the charge of the mines. If you notice my spider mines, they are not charging. But it's really neat, honestly. I think it's a cool skill. I think that it's a little bit, not... I would describe it as not polished right now. It's a little clunky to use. The rockets do 500% damage. I feel like, Hopo... Like, I don't want to take the credit for this. But it does feel like with this, the reticle, or the square indicator targeting highlighter, And it feels like Hoppo was going for Earth Defense Force style missile painting. And they've done a fairly good job of replicating that system. However, it is a little bit clunkier. In Earth Defense Force, you hold the paint button, you hold it down, and it automatically acquires target lock on whatever's in there. And as a EDF fencer main, I just want to say, Hoppo, if you're looking for a solution that's elegant, I think that solution works. Just having the control reticle active and not having to left click, or maybe you left click to fire instead of left click to paint and release to fire. I don't know. It might. I would rather. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not used to it. But from my initial, I'm just sharing my initial, views on it. I think it's a really sweet ability, and I hope that it gets tweaked a little bit to be something that's a little more easy to use. Whether or not that ends up being the same as EDF or not. I think it just needs some slight tweak to it to make it feel a little smoother. Okay. So, I really do like that skill, though. It does a lot of damage. 500% damage each. I think that can be a cool build. It needs to be a little smoother, I believe. It's too clunky with having to hold down control and aim and left click and then release left click. That's like too many actions. In my opinion. Okay. So, I don't want to do a run with that right now. We're going to put on this. I don't know how this is going to work with all these relics on. I did this run on stream the other day. I'm going to go for a very specific run and build. And you're going to just deal with it, basically. The build that I want to go for is the Squid Polyp build. What? Oh, I have the wrong, I need the other turrets. I would also like to say thank you for watching. I'm gonna try my best to keep uploading videos in a timely fashion, more frequently, is the primary goal. Things have been weird. There's been a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, and I think that's hitting everyone right now. I think we're all getting that to a certain degree. This might take a few tries to actually nail it down. But, we'll see. To actually get a run going here, but we're going to try our best. We might end up needing to turn off, like, swarms or something to make this work. It's possible that Spite might not be a good idea. I'm actually very dead right now. It might be a good idea to get, to farm up an item or two before we actually hit the teleporter also. Another thing is, so here's what we'll do, because I do want to go to, I would like to go to the Void. I think that's important to my overall plan. I also think that it's important to so I guess we'll see if we can get an early Newt altar in a good spot that is easily accessible. I Ideally, it will be right here. It is. We'll just hit it. And the whole focal point of this build is we're trying to get squid turrets. Squid Polyp is a new item that is a tier 2, and it says whenever you interact with an item, it spawns a turret that has health drain, similar to the way that ghosts work with Happiest Mask. Which is a drawback, but to counterbalance that, oh god, we need an item. To counterbalance that drawback, we are going to stack Bustling Fungus as a tier 1. And our Bustling Fungus will keep the squid turrets alive as long as possible to allow them to deal damage. The squid turrets, when you stack them, they give you more attack speed per squid polyp tier 2 that you possess. I do need an item to have it though. Pretty please. A tier 1 would go a very long way. Monsters have attack speed. Come on, surely items exist in this game. That's the problem with Sacrifice. I think Sacrifice, okay, Popo released a balance manifesto. And they were like, hey, we understand that some people think artifacts are strong and stuff, and that's okay, is basically their stance. Artifacts are meant to, they're sort of like cheat codes, right? They are there to augment the game and make it perform in ways that aren't normal. And that is okay if sometimes it's a little strong. And you know what? That makes sense to me, and I get it. We play within the artifacts in order to mix things up, and they modify the game in ways to make it just, an enjoyable time. I'm fine with that. I think Sacrifice, in particular, well, okay, so Command is obviously powerful. If you're just going for winning the game at any cost with no other restrictions, Command is very strong. I think Sacrifice is able to be used in a way that is abusive to the core gameplay loop, right? Because what you can do with it is just farm on stages that do not have time penalty. Any Hidden Realm or the Void or whatever. And what that does is it doesn't let monsters scale, while the player does scale through items and experience. So I think that those areas that do not have time pressure are something that can be exploited. And whether or not, like, you could even, if you wanted to balance something like that, you could potentially make it so that time pressure, areas without time pressure, do not give you experience or items. Aside from, of course, the Void, I guess. You could make a specific exception for that in order to, allow that to give you the, you still have the items that you get. That's just the reward for doing it. But you could also just not, and some runs would be stronger as a result of... It's the same thing as like in Risk of Rain 1, you had Boar Beach. And you would go to Boar Beach and just farm it. And if you had Sacrifice on, you would just get free items. And it was a very there was time pressure there, but it was very easy. It was easy to the point of, do we have any squid polyps that have appeared? There's one. Okay, so this is a squid polyp. He's our boy. We're gonna put down a thing next to him. We're gonna buy this. I'm gonna put my other turret down there when I get it. Please. I got 8 seconds. He's probably dead. He is dead. So the squid turrets, you'll see, are very slow shooters, but as we acquire more tier 2s, they're going to go up. And the spite bombs are really... If I end up dying, I'm turning off spite for this run. I think that's the only way to go here. You know what? It got the job done, though. Hello, squid turret, please. Squid polyp. Popo, please. Where's my filly? I just want some cute filial imprinting boys. Or girls, or whatever. So, also, so squid polyp, I said the attack speed goes up as you collect more of them. It only will go up on turrets created after you pick up a new item. So that one still is 1 squid polyp's worth of attack speed. We are also gonna go with gnarled wood sprites so that I can live a little bit. And we're gonna just real quick check for more items up here. Sometimes they just... You never know. Okay. Is there anything else that we want? The way that lunar items work is interesting now. You just pay 2 lunar items, and if the item that you bought was a passive, you get a blue command essence that has all the passive command items, right? But if you do the equipment ones, then it has all the equipment ones. It's interesting. So, I don't actually think I want anything here. I was just showing for the record. I think I'm gonna take... I mean, I'll just take this. I do not expect this run to get very far at all. I expect to die on this run. I think Squid Polyp build is cool. Right now there are a number of problems with it. Including a thing that has been noted by Popo. They sometimes just spawn in very, very wrong places. They spawn like under the map, inside of walls, all sorts of weird places that don't allow them to do their job. They do shoot through walls, but, you know, you'll see. There'll be squid polyps like under the ground, and that's not great. But I wanted to kind of archive this run as a... Because this is actually one of my favorite builds right now, is squid polyps. And just trying to keep them alive as long as possible. Because they're sweet. They do not inherit your on-hit items or anything. Here we go. Excellent. So we'll put our boys right here. See, he's already firing very quickly. And it will get much, much quicker as we collect tier 2s. As long as the squid polyps do not spawn under the ground, the void is very easy. And this is just like basically free items, which I think this build needs because you really don't start things happening until you get a few squid polyps going and a couple fungus. I think I'm also going to take at least a few repulsion armor plates. Repulsion armor plate is my sleeper choice for like the best item in the game, question mark. It's very, very strong. It doesn't work on void damage, but it trivializes so many enemy types. Okay, he's over here. He did it. Keep in mind that I can hit myself with my own mines. And my own turrets. And we're taking bustling fungus for mostly radius so that we can eventually get our turrets to the point where they can cover multiple squid polyps if we're able to. Because like if we were in the optimal situation, we have squid polyps all over the map, and then we have map-wide bustling fungus in order to keep them all alive, and then we just, you know, do that. I'm actually going to alternate repulsion armor plate and bustling fungus in order to keep myself and my turrets alive longer. I think teddies are also a great idea. I don't know where I'm going. Teddies are always good. Teddies, you might be like, oh, but Quaza, teddies completely nullify damage entirely. So they're better than repulsion armor. Yes, but teddies drop off after a certain amount of time, and they're less consistent. You get spiked a lot with teddies, because if you only stack teddies, then you're not going to have a lot of effective health. And anything that does not get blocked by the teddy bear is going to be a big hit against your low effective health. So... okay, so what's happened here is we got a thing to spawn somewhere somewhere below us. Oh yeah, there it is. You can see it. It's flashing health right now. Unfortunate. There is still the squid turret that's down there. Oh Jesus, I might die. The spite knockback is very strong. Fine. It's fine. We just have to survive. Another thing about this build, I have run this build before, and I've learned some things from the first time I did it. I think that I was taking, like, Nukahana's opinion, or sorry, not Nukahana's opinion. I was taking, that was the other build that we were doing. I was taking Rejuvenation Rack, or Aegis as the tier 3, to keep myself alive. But I actually think, at the risk of... So, this build is all about making the squid polyp the primary source of damage, right? But, at the risk of corrupting that idea a little bit, because of the way that the squid turrets are not consistent, and sometimes you just can't get them to spawn where you want them to, or they spawn at the bottom of the map or whatever. Because of that, I think that having a way to kill enemies for those eventualities is not a bad idea. And I think Nukahana's opinion is the way that I'm going to try and do that. It will add some amount of damage. I don't know how much to the turrets, and so that might degrade a little bit from the enjoyment of seeing the squids kill everything, but it shouldn't be too much, and it at least gives us a renewable source of damage against enemies when all of our squid turrets on the map are dead, right? Because there's the other problem is if we get to a certain point in the game, all of our squid turrets will be dead, and then there's no way to spawn more because the teleporter event, you know, cuts everything else on the map off, and so as soon as you hit the teleporter, you're limited to everything, every squid polyp that's on the map, plus any interactables that are in the teleporter radius, which is limited. So you have to kind of balance that. I think what we're going to do is also for some mobility, we're going to take a few wax quails. I like 3 wax quails, that's like my magic number. And that gives me kind of a dash, basically. On any character. Let's take another repulsion armor plate. It can't hurt. No squid polyps, huh? They're all spawning down at the bottom of the world. Alright, well. I swear this is a squid polyp build. This is just kind of something that you deal with. It's early in the run, you know. We'll get there. The enemies have horrible items for us. Repulsion armor plate is particularly poor against our damage. You can see our turrets are dealing 2 damage per hit, which is not incredible, as you might imagine. Just goes to show that repulsion armor plate is actually a god tier item. I fully expect something to be changed about repulsion armor plate. I can't. It's so strong. It could be a green item at its current state, and I think it would still be very, very, very strong. It kind of reminds me of old Guillotine. Guillotine also was a white item at first, and then the next patch it was nerfed to become a green item. I think something similar will happen to repulsion armor plate, because it is just so game-changingly good. The fact that it enables you to even 1 repulsion armor plate, let alone, you know, 3. I think 3 repulsion armor plates in the early game is enough to carry you for basically ever. Yeah, squid polyps down at the bottom of the world again. Don't worry about it, you know. Who needs the main focus of our build anyway? Wow, that's horrifying. Wow, we do 9 damage with our basic attack. But, like, 3 repulsion armor gives you basically immunity to golem lasers, to clay templars, which were previously, like, these are horrifying, you know, enemies that actually cause you to have to deal with them. Instead, with 3 of this white item, you completely face tank them, and it does nothing. Oh, a Polyp, dude. Look at this. Hell yeah. Look how fast this guy whips these out. It's so good. Now, with a lot of repulsion armor plates on enemies, I think that that's possibly, you know, a big problem for the squid turret build. Because it scales with attack speed, it doesn't scale with damage. But it is still wrecking face right now. The difference is clear eyes. I guess one way that you could scale the damage if enemies end up having too many repulsion armor plates is something like Death Mark, which just increases the damage dealt by 50%, or the damage taken by enemies by 50%. We did not get a squid polyp. Unlucky. Or like crowbars or crit, that kind of thing, where it makes your hits do more damage per hit. Now, the problem with that, and also the problem, well, okay, there's 2 things that I want to talk about here. One thing that I want to talk about here is, holy crap, these beetles are fast. The, ATG on enemies is a death sentence most of the time, because the ATG missiles are very difficult to dodge in certain circumstances. Oh, unless you have very specific circumstances, it's very difficult to dodge them. They also do a large amount of damage. And it's scaled based off of enemy damage, so I don't know. It's pretty nuts. Polyp. I hear it. Oh, there it is. We have a... It's going. It's doing it. It does shoot through walls, so you're gonna see... It's doing its job. Could just stay down here, but I was kind of watching the flow happen. Okay, so for our tier 3, I am gonna take. I mean, possible options are Aegis, of course, to give us, you know, maximum health, essentially. Very easily renewable maximum health. You got Rejuvenation Rack. The thing is, these ones don't affect the squid turrets, so that's kind of why they're less desirable. You could go something like Desk Plant. I guess Death Plant stacks radius and healing strength. It's basically like Bustling Fungus randomly on kill. And that could be good if you stacked a bunch of them, but I don't think it's incredible until late game, like very late for this build at least. But we're going to take Nukahanas because we would like our turrets to actually be able to complete stages eventually by themselves. The other thing is I don't want to take too many teddy bears, and the reason for that is if I take too many teddy bears, then that means my doppelganger will also have too many teddy bears and will not be able to kill him. And I can say the same thing about the plates as well. So we'll kind of keep it, you know, reasonably. And we're gonna get a spawn in 2 minutes. Well, once we leave the area. So we gotta be careful. There's an item up there, there's an item over here. We have to get items that are mostly inert on our doppelganger so that we don't die. That's another thing, man. Some of these artifacts, if you play with them on, you just straight up cannot take other, you know, certain items. Chaos Relic, or Chaos Artifact, you basically can't stack Gasoline or Will-o'-the-Wisp. When you have the Invader copying your items, you really need to stack defense. But not too much defense, because otherwise you'll just die. But you don't want to get one shot by your doppelganger. So you don't want to take too much offense either. So it's like it really changes the way the valuation of the items for me. It makes me definitely have to think about things in a different way, which is cool. It also means that I just won't be playing with certain artifacts all the time. That's important if anyone's interested. But we've done it. We've completed Void. We're stage 2, 8 minutes in. We have a bunch of items now, essentially, is what the Void has done for us. Our build is off and underway. We're about to fight our nemesis. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. I think it'll be fine, probably. If he puts down his turrets immediately, then we can lure him into our turrets, and then it'll be fine. That's the benefit of stationary turrets. Oh, I heard an item. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's see if we can get some polyps going. I said let's see if we can get some polyps going. They're down at the bottom of the map. Excellent. This build is going to be so much better once they fix that. So let's see if we can get some polyps going. How much do our Nukahanas do? Takes a long time. 120 damage. Okay, so that's not nothing. We get a polyp? There, we did. Okay. Oh, the Nukahanas are very strong. Uh-oh. Did I brick my build by taking Nukahanas? Well, let's see how it works. They're over there. Oh, you know what? He's fighting chaos enemies. That's actually horrible for us, because... Oh, they're fighting each other! There's two of them. They're fighting each other. Oh, I need to leave. I want my squid turret back. What the hell? My squid turret's dead. What the hell, actually? So, we've killed... The engineers killed each other, or my turret killed them, or something. But... Okay, so we're just gonna do this. Oh. Alright, well, so... The squid turret build, we've learned a couple things. A, don't put Nukahanas on it. That's step one. That's the big lesson that I've learned here. I didn't try this before. I had never taken Nukahanas before on this build. So that was a mistake. Step two, it'll be better once they fix the spawning of squid polyps. I had a much better run on stream the other day. If you're interested, you can go watch it over at twitch.tv/Rawrquaza. The VODs are open. Go watch them. Nukahanas was a mistake. That's pretty much it. It's a sweet build. It'll be better when they fix squid polyp spawning. Nemesis, the invader vengeance artifact, I guess, is what it's called. That's a mistake. It really is extremely powerful. And, yeah, I don't know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye-bye.